Here we are at the beginning of Lent, and the Gospel and the other readings point to us that the choices that we have to make. In the first reading we hear Moses talking to the people of Israel. They've been wandering in the desert now for 40 years. He's doing now throughout Deuteronomy, summarizing everything that's happened before they enter into the Holy Land. And he says, "Today I've set before you life and prosperity, death and doom. Obey the commandments of the Lord. That will be life. Disobey the commandments of the Lord, that will be death." And he's not saying that the Lord is going to curse them, but because that's just the way the world is. When we disobey Almighty God, we bring death into our souls. And he says, so choose life then, that you and your descendants may live by loving the Lord your God. And then in the psalm, we hear, "Blessed is the man who follows not the counsel of the wicked, nor walks in the way of sinners, nor sits in the company of the insolent." And in the Hebrew, it's basically saying, okay, one is kind of following the way, and then the other is now I'm actively moving in the way, and then it's like, okay, now I'm just going to be in the midst of the wicked and let their influence fall over me. Blessed are you who doesn't do that. Why? Well, then you're like a tree planted near running waters, that you're allowing God to give you that life. But not so the wicked. They're like chaff which the wind drives away. It's interesting. I remember Bishop Barron saying one time, when you look at sinners, they're all kind of the same. It's all the same sins. They all kind of look the same. When you look at saints, they're radically different. They're each individually become who they were meant to be. And so often we think of saints as, well, they're the boring ones. But no, they're the ones that are radically exciting. Sinners are boring. It's just like, we've seen that. It's only so many commandments to break, right? And that's the same thing. And then Jesus says, as we're entering into Lent, do you have this clearly? What you're doing? You have to die with me. You have to take up your cross. Wouldn't it be easy just to take it up once and say, yep, I did it? But no, he says, take it up daily. That every day has to be this new choice to follow him. Sometimes when we enter into Lent, we can have great ideals and wonderful things about what we want to do, and we think it's gonna work, and I'll tough through it, and at least that's the way I am. I don't know if anybody else is, but look and say, okay, are we aware of the choices we have to make, not just at the beginning of Lent, but daily? To choose life, to choose to follow God, to choose not to walk in the way of the insolent, to choose to take up our cross every day. And maybe if we get a good look at this, there might be a little bit of fear. And that's okay. I invite you to bring that to the Lord. Spend time talking to the Lord about it, saying, I know you want me to get close to you. This is dangerous. It is. It's dangerous to follow the Lord. He's inviting us to lose our lives. He's inviting us to take up our crosses. But even though it's dangerous, it's worth it. And so we kind of know that. So the Lord is inviting us, come, surrender your fear to me. Let me look at that with you. Let me strengthen you. Let me surround you in my love, so that the fear will be dispelled. It's an opportunity to say, okay, I know this is going to be hard, but it's going to be good. I know this is difficult, but Lord, help me not to focus in on myself, but to choose to look at you and your goodness and your mercy and your love.